This is Colin O'Keefe for LXBN TV. Today we're taking a look at the possibility that we may soon see a federal trade secrets law. Joining me now to explain is attorney Robert Milligan. He is based in Los Angeles with Seyfarth Shaw and is editor on the firm's blog, Trading Secrets. Robert, first, what's the latest on this front? Can you walk us through the legislation that's being put forth in this area?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Colin. Yes, this is a very important piece of legislation. It was proposed by Senator Coons as well as Senator Hatch, and the important part of that is it's a bipartisan bill, and it will essentially create a federal civil cause of action for trade secret and misappropriation in the federal courts of the United States. Part of the reasons for the bill, as conveyed by Senator Coons, was to help with loss of jobs as well as to help with the loss of intellectual property. And it will create a cause of action in federal court that will allow a business to sue for trade secret misappropriations. And it's a little bit different from the Uniform Trade Secrets Act that is actionable in the various states of the United States. And some of the differences in the law are essentially has a longer statute of limitations, a 5-year statute of limitations as opposed to a 3-year. And then it also provides 3 times the amount of exemplary damages if there's a finding of willful misappropriation of trade secrets. So a very important piece of legislation. It'll be interesting. There's some history here. Senator Coons has been trying to get some legislation passed over the past 3 years, and this is his 3rd attempt to get the legislation passed. And I think it's a very good sign that it's coming from a bipartisan member of Congress. So it'll be interesting as the bill proceeds whether they'll be able to get some traction for its passage.
Absolutely. This is, of course, just a piece of legislation, but it is one with a great deal of potential. And speaking to that potential, what is the impact that we might see, from this legislation that's being put forth?
I think it'll be very interesting because it'll basically, plaintiffs will be given a choice. They'll be able to sue in state or federal court if their trade secrets are misappropriated. Now, obviously, we talked a little bit about some of the different remedies that will be available in federal court, so that may be more attractive. Some of the other things that make the federal law more attractive is that it doesn't look like it'll displace common law remedies, which is a big issue that comes up in state court, that if somebody steals your information, you're left with essentially a breach of contract or a trade secret misappropriation claim. But under this federal legislation, not only could you bring a trade secret misappropriation claim, but you also may be able to bring some common law claims such as breach of duty of loyalty or unfair competition. So there's not such a sweeping preemption provision. Now, some people prefer local practice and local state law, and when they bring their trade secret cases, they're more familiar with the judges, they're more familiar with getting emergency relief. So there'll still be a trade-off as far as pros and cons. But certainly there are some very attractive pieces within this new proposed legislation. And I think, they're carrying up on some of the momentum that they had in previous congressional sessions where they made changes to the Economic Espionage Act. In a bipartisan manner, they increased the penalties for a violation of the Economic Espionage Act, and they also expanded the definition of a trade secret. Now, this, of course, applied to criminal remedies. So we know that Congress can work in a bipartisan manner, and it will be very interesting to see if they can get behind this legislation. I think there was a bit of a setback with the Snowden problems of last year, but it's good that this is being introduced sort of early in the legislative season, and so there's a lot of businesses that have come out in favor of the legislation, including the Chamber of Commerce, including DuPont and Corning. So you have some heavy hitters there that are behind this legislation. So it's a good development.
Certainly, this legislation does seem to, as mentioned, have a great deal of potential, and it is good to see Congress really work together on something. Once again, that was attorney Robert Milligan. He is with Seyfarth Shaw. For more of his insight and insight from his colleagues as well, be sure to visit TradeSecretsLaw.com. Thanks for joining me today, Robert.
Thanks, Colin.